Okay, again, we have two newcomers, D2LNG and 2ez. I believe both teams have more or less a couple of games already under their belt in the series. And D2LNG have been in the Silver League for some time. 2ez actually had to start from the Bronze League based on our engine. And after their last game against Grotzi, they moved up to the Silver League and they will be fighting against D2LNG. Okay, so this will determine how long 2ez will be staying in the Silver League. If they win this, they will stay. If they lose this, we will have to evaluate their position in the bracketing system. All right, so we're now moving into the drafting phase. Of course, analysis will be mainly driven by Coach. Coach is the one who's more equipped to handle these kinds of analysis. Okay, Coach, take it away.
All right. Thank you. Hello. Is my mic on? Yeah, my mic should be on. All right. So, 2ez4us recently got promoted to the Silver League. This is made by analysis, of course, by our proprietary top secret data analysis engine. Yeah, it is. It is. We are
It is, it
scientific.
is.
We are scientific in our method. So, according to their last matches, their last match, particularly against Grotzi, they are more or less equipped to participate in the Silver League, which means that they will be matched up with the general population of our teams right now, including this team, dot slash, now known as D2LNG. So we're going into the first round of bans. Lycan is banned. Pretty typical. So what we normally see in this first round of bans and picks, we would typically see maybe a Faceless Void, a Skywrath Mage, a Razor, or yeah, Doom. Batrider is still banned out sometimes, but more and more, I've been seeing Batrider slip through the entire drafting phase and entirely. So I guess Batrider's not really too hot of a hero right now, but I would say Batrider's just as useful as Doom if played properly. It's just that people have forgotten, I suppose. But in other pro scenes, yeah, you still can see Batrider being played a bit more often than what we see in our series of games. So Death Prophet, yeah, that's the Death Ball strat. Death Prophet, Shadow Shaman. You take that out because those heroes interrupt the pace of the game, make it a bit quicker. So it's it's harder for you to come back from losing multiple towers at the early stages of the game. So yeah, we might see Shadow Shaman ban out right now in a similar vein. But first pick is too easy for us, so this will be a critical ban for D2LNG. They might want to ban a bigger hero, a more game-defining hero such as maybe Faceless Void or even Tidehunter. There we go. They ban out Razor. Pretty okay ban, pretty standard. So a lot of big heroes still remain. Faceless Void. There we go. That's what I was saying. Typically the shape of the environment right now is bigger and bigger plays. So yeah, big play heroes are very hot right now. Faceless Void, Tidehunter, Earthshaker. Because of the recent focus towards destroying towers earlier on, a lot of hero presence is required, and of course, more hero presence is advantageous to heroes with big AoE spells like Faceless Void and Tidehunter and Earthshaker, and even Skywrath Mage has kind of a bit of AoE right there, but generally suited, yeah, for team fights and for ganking before that. So we have Skywrath Mage, common first round pick, not too much of a ban, but yeah, a pick. So there's Skywrath Mage and Tidehunter. There we go. So going with the big ult right now. Tidehunter, of course, is one of the best offlaners in the game. Very tanky. He did get that buff with the Anchor Smash, allowing him to affect the ancient creeps. And that allows potential for Tidehunter to come back from a losing offlane to farm a bit and recover with the mana boots and the blink dagger that he might need, or even skip the mana boots straight to a blink dagger would be fine as long as he gets that level 6 and forces the opponent into a team fighting position. Now Shadow Shaman is picked up by 2ez4us. Yeah, Shadow Shaman is one of those game pace setting heroes. Yeah, You pick Shadow Shaman. You hopefully get those wards as soon as possible, preferably before the 10-minute mark. 8 minutes, 9 minutes, that's the sweet spot for Shadow Shaman. And immediately when you get those level 6, you should have a coordinated team movement to take down a couple of towers, actually. The cooldown for Serpent Ward is 160 seconds, I think. 110. Oh, much shorter than 160. So 110. So actually, by the time that you're finished pushing a lane with Mass Serpent Wards, you should be readying up to push another lane, actually, because of that cooldown is 110 seconds. That's the equivalent of 4 creep waves. So time really flies faster than it would seem in Dota 2. 110 seconds might seem like a big number, but it's really not. It's just 4 creep waves, and 4 creep waves can pass by in a blink of an eye. So let's take a look at the second round of bans as we're going into the last ban of the second round. Banned out was Viper and Brewmaster. Yeah, Brewmaster is a popular mid hero. Very tanky, very annoying. Pretty much like Wraith King right now. You have to deal with him more or less twice, and it's kind of not worth it dealing with the Brewlings early on, unless you can one-shot them with a Phantom Assassin later on, or with a Faceless Void. When you can get a right-click carry going on, it's much easier to deal with those Brewlings. But until then, you most likely have to ignore them, and during those stages of the game, it's such a pain to deal with the Brewmaster. So Viper, laner, Brewmaster mid, and banning out Centaur Warrunner. Yeah, great positioning ability for Faceless Void, forces team fights, and then you can easily follow up with a Shadow Shaman push if needed. And Venomancer, of course. Venomancer practically doubles up Shadow Shaman's pushing capability. He has wards of his own and has zoning capability with those wards and the poison. Yeah, so Venomancer, Shadow Shaman, not really something you'd go up against. So good ban on the Venomancer, and D2LNG pick up Sand King. Okay, another big team fight kind of hero. You pair him up with the Tidehunter Ravages, you set up your Epicenter channel, then blink in, Burrow Strike, and hopefully deal a whole lot of damage before the enemy has any time to react. But 2ez4us, they go with the Tinker pick right now. Tinker pick, one of the most annoying heroes to deal with right now, especially once he gets the Blink Dagger. The Boots of Travel, yeah, it's annoying to deal with him at that phase, but he becomes practically ungankable once he gets that Blink Dagger going on, because you'll have to allocate more and more resources to dealing with the Tinker, and it's such a loss in resources, because you deal with the Tinker and then you give room for all the other heroes, including a Faceless Void, one of the bigger carries in this current meta. So yeah, Tinker, lots of potential right there. But yeah, however, D2LNG pick up the Invoker. Invoker, one of the best heroes to counter pushes. Yeah, he has a lot of AoE damaging spells. The Meteor, the Deafening Blast, Tornado, all of them are AoE spells that deal quite a bit of damage and can easily turn team fights or pushes around. The Tinker, however, also is a bit defensive with the March of the Machines. Not really too much of an offensive pushing skill. It helps, it does help, but not as great as a Pugna or Nature's Prophet even. Yeah, Nature's Prophet. But good defensive skill, March of the Machines. It's very hard to go high ground against the Tinker. So yeah, you have offense, Faceless Void, and defense, Tinker. Basically, you can keep yourself alive even if you lose the early game. If you have a Tinker with March of the Machines, rearming, keeping your tier 3 and barracks up, then you can just let your Faceless Void to farm and recover. And that's from behind position. If you're ahead, Tinker can very much go aggressive and build a Dagon Ethereal Blade. So, 2ez4us now. They pick up Witch Doctor, one of those combo heroes with Faceless Void. Of course, the Faceless Void Chronosphere, Death Ward guarantees death to anyone caught within the Chronosphere. If Faceless Void can't immediately kill him with those right clicks right away, then the Witch Doctor Death Ward practically guarantees it. So D2LNG, they ban out the Omni Knight. Omni Knight is actually not really priority ban for them, I would say, because most of their damage, if not all, would be magic. Skywrath Mage, Tidehunter doesn't right click, Sand King doesn't right click, Invoker doesn't right click. Invoker maybe a bit, but not not a hard agi carry. So Omni Knight, um, maybe for the repel, but yeah, maybe it would have been better if they themselves picked Omni Knight, because Omni Knight blocks out the damage from the Faceless Void, the Shadow Shaman, and the Witch Doctor. The Witch Doctor, Death Ward does in fact deal physical damage. Doesn't look like it, isn't quite obvious, but he does physical damage with it. So all of that can be negated with a well-timed Omni Knight ult. But Naga Siren is banned out instead. Yeah, Naga Siren, if she stays in the back, can easily cast Song of the Siren and burn throughout the entire duration of the Faceless Void's Chronosphere. That is, if she doesn't get caught and Faceless Void doesn't have a BKB yet. Now, Naga Siren's ultimate, the Song of the Siren, is already 7 seconds max duration right from the get-go. Right at level 6, he has that max duration Song of the Siren, which is basically a few more seconds. Yeah, 3 more seconds than the full duration of Chronosphere at level 1. So that's a great pickup. That's a great disengage from the Faceless Void. And if you can disengage with the Faceless Void, then you can probably do a better re-engagement with an Invoker Tidehunter Sand King. Yeah, lots of magical damage to follow up. If Faceless Void is silenced and can't time walk out, then it's easy to turn an engagement after the Chronosphere has worn out. But yeah, this teamfight lineup, heavy teamfight lineup by D2LNG, and some split push capability from the Invoker. Invoker can build into a Zoo Invoker. That's the Necronomicon Forge Spirits prioritized build. You use that to take down towers early on. It's quite effective actually. And Naga Siren's illusions can farm multiple lanes, can farm jungles, can easily push as well when she gets the Radiance. So yeah, Naga Siren, Invoker, both have pushing capability, and of course the more obvious capability of D2LNG is their teamfight potential. 2ez4us, however, yeah, they're picking their last pick. They already have a solid lineup. They have Shadow Shaman, Faceless Void, yeah, and Tinker. They got all their bases covered with that. Witch Doctor is a good accessory, but okay, so they get a Weaver. They really want to secure the late game with the Weaver. So 2 carries, 2 hard carries versus maybe 1 scaling carry in D2LNG. Okay, so just in case, not really too effective in the early game and mid game, but Weaver is a good fallback plan, because Weaver's one of those heroes that is hard to kill, and you can easily rely on the Weaver to just keep farming, get those items up, and maybe turn the game around at around 40-50 minutes.
Yeah,
so,
but we might be looking, if D2LNG does not finish the game early on, we might be looking into a very, very extended game, and this will be a very, very long night.
yeah, especially since you have Tinker. Tinker tends to drag out games because
He needs to farm up.
Yeah, because of those March of the Machines, the annoying March of the Machines can halt pushes dead in their tracks. There's really no way going about March of the Machines. You can't get BKB against it. So yeah, you really need something to pick the Tinker off and make sure you get him. Maybe a Song of the Siren and then an instantaneous Ravage, just to make sure that you can breach the high ground. So okay, here we go. We're into the game. Slight pause. I'll pause right now for a disconnected player from 2ez. Okay, so while we're waiting, let's have our introductions. Ali, up to you.
Alright, so we have two teams once again, D2LNG and 2ez. D2LNG was formerly known as // and remember guys, whenever you change team names or you change player names, since we are not directly hooked up with the Valve API, we are not exactly that capable to maintain the integrity of your statistics. So what this means is that whenever you change anything, your name or any aliases, it's going to take a longer time for us to maintain the structure of your statistics. Okay, so that's just something for you guys to know. Anyway, going back, D2LNG is not exactly a new team. They were formerly known as // and they'll be going against 2ez. Both teams have won their previous games, and so they have to go head to head. 2ez have been promoted to the Silver League after winning the last game against Grotzi in the Bronze League. And with the player introductions, I would proceed. We have Tianchan playing as Tidehunter, Meek playing as Siren, Listen playing as Skyrath Mage L, or Heart. Apparently, he has always been playing as Heart. Is playing Invoker Shailene as a Sand King. So these is exactly the same lineup they had before, with the exception of a single stand-in. I think it's Mighty Mark or something. But this is exactly the same players we've seen before. Meanwhile, for 2ez4us, you have Jer on the Faces Void, Pompey on the Witch Doctor, 321 on the Weaver, Jan Jan on the Tinker, and Osh on the Shadow Shaman. So yeah, there we have it. So you might actually see a little bit of ganking here. If you don't mind, Coach, I will proceed with a little bit of what do you call this? Coverage on the actions that's happening on the Radiant jungle. So the smoke duration actually runs out before they find anything. So there's not going to be any ward shenanigans there for 2ez4us. And so I think they will just proceed normally to their own lanes. The Tidehunter moving to the top as an off lane. So everybody disengages, and 2ez4us just standing on their side of the map. Okay, going to the lane analysis, we have Coach Dora to cover for us. Coach?
Alright, so we might see an early gank right now in the mid lane. We have Tinker, of course, laning mid. Okay, so these two gankers, the Shadow Shaman and the Witch Doctor, are actually moving up top. They probably want to catch this Tidehunter, so let's keep an eye on that for now. But yeah, pretty standard laning. Tidehunter solo offlane, Weaver solo offlane might be in a more precarious position if this Tidehunter doesn't die yet. Tidehunter spots out the gank, yeah.
Precarious, I like that. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, because the Weaver's actually going up against the Skywrath Mage. The Skywrath Mage has that Ancient Seal, Silence, and the Concussive Shot, Slow. Which means that the Weaver might have a difficult time using the Shukuchi, especially since the level 1 Shukuchi, even the level 2 Shukuchi level has 12 seconds and then 10 seconds cooldown, not very quick. So if the Weaver gets caught out with that cooldown, with the cooldown up, then it's easy for a Sand King and the Skywrath Mage to take down the Weaver. Especially since they have quite a bit of burst damage. The Naga Siren also dealing burst damage with the Riptide. So I would say that this is more dangerous for the Weaver than for the Tidehunter. The Tidehunter is naturally tanky, and he does have that Kraken Shell, which is going to make it harder for him to get ganked, even against a tri-lane. So I think this Tidehunter is moving to stack the Ancients. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if you're getting zoned out like this, perhaps the Shadow Shaman and Witch Doctor are having an easy time zoning out the Tidehunter. Yeah, the Tidehunter is melee. He does have that drawback. So he might want to depend a bit on these Ancients, on catching up with these Ancients later on. Let's just hope that, I guess he should just hope that the Tinker wouldn't try to steal his Ancients with the March of the Machines before he gets to them. Okay, so right now, pretty much everything has settled. We've had an early smoke attempt coming from D2LNG earlier on, but cut out nothing, cut out nobody. So right now we're sitting 0-0 early on. Pretty much an even out game in terms of laning at least. So yeah, tri-lane versus tri-lane, solo offlaner versus solo offlaner. The Weaver getting a bit aggressive there. But yeah, Nosy's range can be safe. That Shukuchi allows him to get a bit more leeway. But yeah, he's getting harassed right now by the Skywrath Mage. So might not be too good of an idea to be as aggressive. Okay, so
hang on, the middle lane, we didn't notice that. So apparently an Invoker attempted to go for the Tinker who has a double damage rune. And there goes the First Blood.
Okay, so First Blood going the way of Tinker with that double damage rune. Right now, Tinker's level 5. That's quite an advantage actually for the mid laner to get the First Blood solo. So he has one full level ahead of the Invoker right now. Might snowball into a bigger advantage later on. But yeah, the Tinker leveled up Laser instead of Missiles, so a bit of a harder time for harass. Yeah, it's not as good of an harassment spell as the Missiles. Typically, you would see Tinkers getting maybe just 1 point in laser early on, and then maxing out missiles first before the March of the Machines, so you make sure you win the lane. Because missiles are just so much easier to use as an harassment tool than the laser. Laser, you have to get up close. The laser cast range is actually what's this? I think it's only around 400 or 500. I know the attack range of Tinker is 500. So maybe around that, and it's not too long a distance. But right now he has haste. Tinker has haste, so he might go for another attempt on the Invoker. The Invoker, however, may be a bit more wary this time. Yeah, he should be a bit more careful. He does have the Exhort build, so he has a Cold Snap, Forge Spirit build. Yeah, perhaps he's gonna go for a Zoo build, a pushing kind of build. That requires the Invoker to stay in lane and become less active in ganking, and instead focus on farming and pushing out the middle lane, then moving on to other lanes as soon as possible. It's a strat that's not too popular nowadays, but I would say still as effective. The popularity of the pushing Invoker has kind of diminished because of the popularity of the Death Prophet and Shadow Shaman instead, but I would say that it hasn't really been nerfed, so it shouldn't really be much of a problem. Now, Cold Snap attempt on the Invoker. You have that laser though, so yeah.
Yeah. So, however, the Tinker has a haste rune, so thank you for spotting that out, Coach. I'm looking around the map.
Alright, so what else is happening right now? The Sand King is doing a bit of leveling, doing a single pull, but single pulls are not really effective because by doing a single pull, it actually shifts the equilibrium of the lane towards the opponent's side. So the way you should be doing pulls actually is you do a double pull or a stacked pull just to make sure that your creep wave is eliminated. That way you deny experience and you make sure that the enemy creep wave falls within EXP range of your carry or under your tower. Yeah. So just a bit of information there. Right now there's a triple stack at the Radiant Ancient. Tidehunter doing quite a diligent job. Always on the always stacking this.
It's always on the mark.
Camp here. But
I don't think it's going. Yeah, there's a big difference there. If you're going for a Tidehunter, sure, you can actually pull that off. You can still try to stack the Ancients, but the biggest difference is that you may not be able to claim those Ancients as fast as if you were on the dire side. Right?
Yeah, the dire side Ancients does have a bit of an advantage because of its proximity to the lane. And Tidehunter might find himself in a bad position if the Tinker finds out this stack. He should be aware that the stack is happening because the Tidehunter has been coming in and out of the lane, in and out of the Radiant off lane, of the top lane, for quite some time. So if he
actually failed the stack right now.
Okay, so I think this stack is quite big, so that the bigger a stack gets, the smaller the window of timing you have to stack it. So a failed stack right there. But still, 3 stacks is enough for you to gain around 1,000 gold, I think, or at least around. It should be close to around 1,000 gold. So that should be enough to propel the Tidehunter to Blink Dagger right now if he starts farming those Ancients right now. 7 minutes in, still 1 kill. Both teams seem kind of passive right now. Tinker and Invoker pretty much matched in levels because the Tinker had to go back to regenerate earlier on, and is moving a bit more. Yeah,
there's a big 1,200 difference, a couple of hundred differences with how between the Tinker and the Invoker. A Sunstrike attempt there from the Invoker at the middle lane. The Tinker was able to avoid it, and I don't think that the Tinker was even trying to avoid it at all. He was just walking around trying to juke the Invoker. So a little bit of misanticipation. Is that a word? But a smoke gank is coming in from the Shadow Shaman and the Witch Doctor. They're walking around the map, trying to go through the dire jungle into the middle lane. They want to go on. They want to go on top of the Invoker without the Tinker, but the Invoker is sitting at around only 2/3 of his HP. So more or less, they might be able to take a kill here. The Maledict is no Maledict, but the paralyzing cast is on. What I am so confused with the build of this.
He
Witch Doctor right now.
2 points in Voodoo Restoration. maybe to keep up with his farm. But yeah, the Invoker is in. He's in deep. Now we
He's
see
in
the
the,
movement.
you see the movement there. Osh is going for the Hex and followed by a Shackle shot. There we have an Aether Shock following up just in case Invoker might run away. But since this Tinker is working on a Laser March build, that Laser is sitting around 240 damage of 240 pure damage, so he will be safe. He will be able to take that kill.
Yeah, but at the same time, at the bottom lane, the Weaver does fall, and he's actually level 6 right now, and
He
the
did?
time lapse is off cooldown, yeah. But I guess it was the Skywrath Mage Silence that got the Weaver killed. So yeah, as I've said, it's more perilous for the Weaver actually at this early stage in the game without the Linkens, without BKB going up against this Tri-Lane, going up against the Skywrath Mage. Yeah, it would be quite hard for him. And the Tinker now is farming the Ancients. The Tide Hunter should take this stack of Ancients. It's actually a 4 stack right now. He should just take this right now before the Tinker finds it and claims it for himself. Because right now he's already level 6. He has those mana boots, and taking this stack will bring him a lot closer to getting that Blink Dagger and starting to force out engagements. So yeah, let's check out the last hits in the nice board. Actually, even if the Tinker does have those 2 kills, he's still sitting at 47 last hits. The Invoker still actually has more last hits at 50. Naga Siren following 53, but yeah, significantly more is the Faceless Void at 65. Faceless Void does have that absurd amount of damage, and paired with the Quelling Blade can practically get 100% last hit rate in any lane that he's left unchecked, and especially with the Tide Hunter who's zoned out by a Tri-Lane. Okay, so another kill.
Another kill there at the bottom lane. The Tinker already has the boost of travel, and he went in at the bottom lane and just took out the Skywrath Mage with the help of the Weaver. So this is going to be a little bit more difficult for D2LNG because that Tinker has the boots within the 10-minute mark, within the 11-minute mark. Sorry. So, he actually TPs to the middle lane and helps out the Witch Doctor, who doesn't have a Maledict or an ultimate, coach. So I am completely baffled. Now, now he has the ultimate, but no Maledict whatsoever. But still, they were able to get the kill. One thing I noticed, though, right now, this actually isn't like the games we've been seeing so far. So recently, both teams are playing so passively.
Yeah, very, very passive from both teams. Maybe they're looking for bigger fights, but right now, yeah, here comes the first push of the Shadow Shaman with those Serpent Wards and taking down the Radiant off lane. Radiant tier 1 top tower. This Tide Hunter though, yeah, is gonna claim this stack right now. So maybe he's gonna get a blink after this, and maybe D2LNG would be aiming to turn the pace of this game around with Tide Hunter blink. But right now, they're kind of off the back foot.
I just realized that Sand King, if he has his blink, he can actually counter-initiate on top of the Chronosphere. Of course, perhaps at the cost of his life. Oh no, D2LNG actually getting caught to the Paralyzing Cask, and an ultimate. The Invoker is just completely being careless right now. He just walked with around a third of his HP right smack in here in the middle lane, and he still doesn't realize an Observer Ward is up. I mean, the Tinker and the during the a few minutes back. Another team fight happening at the bottom lane. They were able to take out the Skywrath Mage once again. The Naga Siren had to use her ultimate just to escape. So at least there's that. Since the Tinker has a Blink Dagger, yes, he has. So Illusion's getting casted here by the Naga Siren. If this Naga Siren gets spotted, she is dead. Laser and Heat-Seeking Missile are both on cooldown. So if this Tinker even decides to brave up, to find a courage to blink in, he'll be able to get a kill. But no, he goes back to the fountain to regenerate himself, and they will be able to. They're just going to leave this Naga. Oh, the Naga is sitting as a Sacred Relic right now, coach. So she is just taking good care for herself. If she is able to sustain this, she might actually get an early Radiance. Sand King getting initiated upon by the Faceless Void and the Witch Doctor. Oh, he has a Blink Dagger. Wonderful Sandstorm there to a Blink Dagger, and he will be able to escape. Might be able to escape there. Hex coming in from Osh. Unit Shailene is getting caught. Auto attacks in for the Chronos from the Faceless Void, and Shailene will fall. The Sand King is dead. But no matter, he already has the Blink Dagger, so he was actually just caught out of this Scarlet Witch, however, will fall to the ultimate of the Witch Doctor and the casual Shuchi from the from the Weaver, sorry, not Nerubian Weaver. At the very least, they were able to successfully protect the Naga Siren, who is now sitting at 400 gold, roughly a thousand gold shy from a Radiance. So actually, if you think about it, dito lang players are, what do you call this? Dito lang players are just farming up on their big items there. Tianchan goes in with a Ravage, tries to reduce the damage of the Tinker and intimidate him with an Anchor Smash, but no, not enough HP there to sustain those spells. Dito lang will be able to successfully cast a Ghost Walk and escape here. Unit Shiglin is still casting Epicenter, just walking towards Too Easy, but this is everybody there during that initiate, and Sand King will fall. We're now looking at 110, so this is a big advantage for Too Easy. 9 kill advantage right there, and based on how they perform, more or less, they might actually get accelerated to a higher bracket because of the pace of their game, and they might actually face other players from higher brackets at this point if they keep this up to the next game. So, but we won't be able to tell because the engine is the one who decides that. However, we see Naga Siren just farming to farm the jungle to finish off her Radiance. She decides to go for the boots with whatever gold she had earlier. Scarlet Witch initiates with the Mystic Flare on the Tinker, misses. Witch Doctor replies with a what do you call this? Death Ward, but the Scarlet Witch will be able to escape there. But hits the missile from the Tinker, finds its target, and the Scarlet Witch falls. Now Naga Siren is in danger of dying. No mana there for paralyzing cast, and it's still on cooldown on the Witch Doctor. I hear a Sunstrike coming in, and it's going to land on Osh. Anchor Smash from the Tyranitar going to finish that up. Tyranitar is now almost dying there from the auto attacks of the Weaver. Invoker is on the back foot. He has to back away. Doesn't have enough HP there. And meanwhile, when everything was happening here at the bottom lane, we see the Faces Void at the top lane just farming like hell, taking down the top tier 2 tower. So he's now sitting at 3,300 gold. And I think the biggest mistake here by Dito lang is that they are their lineup or the way they play, either of the two, is not equipped to sustain what they want to pull off. They want to farm the big items first before going through the intermediary items like Razors or Arcane Boots. Those things, they want to keep them all together to give way for their for their items. But the problem is they're not playing defensively to protect themselves to be able to farm those big items. So there's a big misplay there or misbudgeting. It's hard to explain. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, they're actually quite behind in farm right now. Net worth, they're already almost 20,000 behind at this 16-minute mark, and yeah, they were playing passive earlier on, but passive means the Tinker gets his farm, and when the Tinker gets his farm, then that's just bad news for you. I think they failed to set the pace of this game. They should have been more aggressive earlier on, especially with the Skywrath Mage and the Sand King. Instead of just farming and zoning out the Weaver. So the Weaver, yeah, you can take out the Weaver. They did manage to kill the Weaver earlier on, but it's so much of an effort to take care of the Weaver. So instead of focusing on the Weaver, maybe they should have ganked instead the Tinker on mid. Tinker doesn't have an innate escape ability until he gets a Blink Dagger. So, if a Tinker is like level 2, 3, 4, 5, he's quite vulnerable actually to a silence, a slow, and a stun if your supports actually went out to gank him. But the Invoker instead got ganked once and twice and 3 times because, Invoker was left alone to the clutches of the 2 supports, the Witch Doctor and the Shadow Shaman. So I think it's actually the motions of the players and the supports of this game from Too Easy dictated how the mid game shaped up. And okay, now we have team fight.
We see a double initiate on top of the Big Void. The Siren was up and the Sand King went for the FP, but the song was up, so he was invulnerable. Well, at least they were able to take down the Faceless Void, and now the Shadow Shaman follow suit. We see the Witch Doctor trying to run away from the Tyranitar, but the Paralyzing Cask will be able to buy the Witch Doctor some time, and he will be able to take a kill before he falls. So it's a 4-hero kill, therefore in favor of Too Easy. Too Easy just losing 3 heroes in exchange for 4. And while everything was happening, Tinker is just constantly farming. He's now sitting at Dagon 2. He has enough money to go for Dagon 3. So yeah, it's continuous mistakes happening for D2LNG. They seem to be panicking constantly for some reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's starting to look like a big snowball.
Yeah, it's kind of demoralizing to see your team behind. So yeah, when you're playing from behind, you're not always in the right state of mind. Now Naga Siren falls another time. She does have that sacred relic, but okay, so they call out GG right now.
They call it GG right now. Yeah, it's a first GG at 19 minutes. It isn't the fastest game, but it's probably one of the biggest snowballs we've seen in the series. Let's go. Are we going to take a break, Coach?
Yeah. Let's take a 5-minute break before we move on to the next game. So, to recap, that's Too Easy for Us taking a very, very quick victory. 19 minutes in, not even pushing tier 3 tower. Yeah, to D2LNG, they knew they were behind. They probably couldn't catch up anyway. So, yeah, GG call right before the 20-minute mark. So that's Too Easy for Us taking the first win of this series, and that's 1-0.